Yeah, sorry about that. Give me just a second. A couple technical difficulties. Start off the morning, but not a big deal. We're getting going right now. 80s, how are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, man. Had a nice little day to kind of just relax and unplug. Thursdays have turned into like my day for me. It's been kind of fucking nice, man. Feel great. How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing well, man. I mean, I'm kind of the same way right now. Where yesterday I just realized I don't know, man. I needed some time to recharge. Slash this morning too. I mean, heck, I won't even lie, bro. I got out of bed 30 minutes before this space. So scrambled to knock out a few things, got done just in time to kick this up. And like I feel great, honestly. It's one of those things where I felt like I made up for about 3 or 4 weeks of sleep in the past like couple of days. So, I feel recharged, refreshed.
Let's go, man. I love it. It's highly crucial that we do that, brother. I always try to say it in the space,
Sir.
man, but you do it. You live the vibes.
Currently getting ready to pour myself a nice glass of Celsius on ice because I don't have any that are cold right now. Um, so yeah, give me like 20 minutes and the energy will be here in full force. Um, let's see, Josh is bored. Welcome to the stage, man. I don't think we've had you on one of the wonky spaces yet. If we do, I'm a boomer. My memory's fading me. I apologize. How's it going?
Hey, what's up, everyone? Yeah, it's my first time here. Yeah.
Welcome to the vibes, Josh. Welcome to the vibes, brother.
Thanks. How is going?
Oh man, it's going well. We do these spaces, every single Friday. Lately, I've been doing them basically every single day. But we've done these spaces every single Friday. As you can see, for nearly a year, it's coming up on it. It's getting close, man. So, always have just been a chance to, kind of unwind, catch up on the week, talk about what's going on in the world of the Wonky Stonks, and talk about what's going on in the world of NFTs in general, man. So, yeah, always has just been a fun way to unwind and catch up.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, man. So, I am curious. How'd you come across the space? What brought you here? Because most people,
Basically,
too, quickly, just most people, like even if they see it, aren't going to be bold enough that they join the space immediately when it kicks off, then request to speak. But I freaking love to see it. So I love your energy that you're bringing here already.
yeah. So basically, I was just on the crypto trading just on Twitter. I was just seeing some mails of fellow trader, and I was also looking at OpenSea. Like food picks. I don't know if it's like the name of the collection. And then I have asked a friend of mine, yeah, it was, what is this fucking collection, but how it's like at point 15 when I have seen it. And he told me, yeah, it's Crypto Cardio who called it. And I was like, bro, that's so, that's so amazing. That's so funny to have like this type of collection on the trending collection, basically on OpenSea. And I was like, bro, it's crazy. So yeah, I discovered you thanks to this collection. And yeah, no, it's
Thanks
my
to feet pics, bro. I told you, 80s. I told you talking about that shit for a minute would somehow would bring in an audience from somewhere.
Bunch of DJs coming in, but I love to see it, man.
yeah. Yeah. Then I have also I've seen that you have another project like LedgArt, right? What is this project exactly? Because I don't really know like how it's going, etc.
Yeah, man. Of course. I mean, you should definitely check it out. It's the Wonky Stonks. Ledge Art is kind of like the umbrella, the umbrella company above Wonky Stonks. So Wonky Stonks is the first collection released there. Right now, the only because, one of my big things is releasing quality over quantity. So, if you're going to release a project rather than, bringing anything else into that ecosystem, you got to make that initial project quality first. So, it was a free mint that did 15 months ago. now? Here, give me a second. I'll pin a thread too. I'll pin a couple of threads for you. But yeah, did a free mint like 15 plus months ago. My background is in trading. So if you have followed my content at all, like I posted more about NFTs and NFT trading recently, but also still talk a good amount about what happens, with Bitcoin, Ethereum, some of the other altcoins, some of the price action there. So it just felt authentic to me to, release a collection that kind of captured the heart of the trader. And also follow the generative art path. So my buddy Hondo actually, wrote the code for the algorithm that produced all of the stonks. Worked with him on that to be able to, basically refine some of the art, get it to where it is now. But it's purely generative art. All the price action is, done completely randomly. And the coolest thing to me is being able to look at it and see, okay, some of the price action on some of the charts in each stonk, like it reflects what you see on real charts. And I think, there is a beauty in that. Like when I look at a chart, I think back and I see, different moments of my life and different things that I've done, different experiences that I've had while trading different coins or stocks, etc. So I think there is a real hidden beauty within that. So yeah, man, like the utility is the art. The roadmap is officially we vibe and then we vibe harder. And like I truly do believe that in cultivating a community that cares about the art above everything else, like there's a lot of strength that intuitively comes with that. So, yeah, man, we've been doing this for the past 15 months, and slowly but surely, like like the grind up it's been fun. The past few weeks. I mean, we obviously don't do this because the floor price is anything at all, because we've done this whether the price of the stonks was 0.06 ETH or where we are today, where it's like zero point 0.3, and it's just a little bit beneath the old all-time highs. We just come hang out, and like I believe that consistency is key. So I've gone through a lot of different shit, but I mean, feel free to ask any questions. I know I missed some stuff too and left some stuff high level, but would love to answer any other questions.
Okay, thanks a lot. It's very, very interesting. Like, it's the first time that I've really, really like heard something about this project. Before I have already seen it on OpenSea, but okay, it's very interesting. Okay, congratulations over the floor price. Yeah, I've seen it's also very, very good compared to the compared to other collection actually on OpenSea. And then with the bear markets, I think it will be very, very huge during the bull. Like it's just the beginning, but we will see.
Yeah, man, I will say that like one of the things that's been encouraging to me, and again, it's one of those things where obviously if the floor price was a metric that mattered, we would have stopped a long time ago, right? But like, I think that it is encouraging to see from a reach perspective just how strong that the stonks have held up, even the past week and a half or so, where you've seen a lot of other projects that saw like a pretty good rise that have already come back down a decent amount. Like the stonks are one of the few that I've seen that have been able to maintain that momentum. So it's been a lot of fun, but it's been a lot of work too, because a lot of it is getting the name out there to people like you. That's kind of my mission this year is like, I feel like there are a lot of people that resonate with the art that just haven't even had the chance to hear about it yet. So you can uh, I guess, like, in a sense, man, like, I'll be the freaking stock evangelist this year. I'm going to get the word out there to as many people as I can. I really do believe that it's just a matter of consistency. The right people hear about it. And at the end of the day, like, you continue to show up and work. There are collectors out there for it. So, yeah, man. So I'm curious, what's your story with NFTs? When did you get plugged in? I see you rocking that ape right there. What brought you into the space to start off?
Like basically, I was just doing trading, like on the stock market because I'm passionate for like now 4 years, about just finance in general. I'm young. I'm very young. I started at 12. trading. Then I have started like crypto 3 years ago, so I was 14. Now I'm 16, and have made a lot of good investment to be honest. And then yeah, now I'm like managing many portfolio, of many people, many famous people, like CEO of big projects. I'm also working with many VC, and yeah, actually I'm now just living, thanks to trading in general, investing on NFT, crypto. But yeah, like it's most like my main investment, like in Solana 2 years ago, who made me really really make money. So yeah, I started very very young, and that's why I'm here today. Yeah, that's why I have a board ape, and I have also, to be honest, lost a lot of money last year because of the bear market. But like you can't be profitable the entire year. So yeah, basically, yeah, that's what I have done. Yeah.
I respect them. So I'm curious, what's your strategy with NFTs? Are you more of an active trader with it? Are you more of an investor where it's like, okay, you eventually, obviously the plan is you want to pick a project that's strong and be able to capitalize on that someday, but you're kind of holding that back. Are you somebody that's like, man, my ape is my identity. I'm never going to part with this. Like, where do you lie in those lines?
My investment, like I think 90% of my NFT portfolio is just like NFT to chill, with time, like from the Yuga ecosystem, like mutants. I have 6 mutants actually, so I have also on my board. And it's more, yeah, like for the, also because when you have a PFP and it's like a board ape, people will think that you're like another person. You can be the same person with a board ape, a PFP board ape. It will be different. So that's why I'm keeping my board ape, and because I don't really need, actually this money, because I also have many business. We are different, from crypto. But actually, when I want to invest like on a long term, on a collection, it's just about the team, because I have seen many, 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 like a lot of big projects who had, a very good hype, like very good design, etc. But without the real team, you cannot do a real thing. You cannot like build a real project. You cannot have a real community, because if your project is not like how you will think and how you will like really how you want to improve, this market, it will not working. Like I have seen many many like little projects who has done more than big project. And I can also tell you like a lot of things about little project at the beginning, and why I invested, on this project at the beginning. It's like all about the team for me, because every single person have a different idea about that. But for me, it's all about the team, also the partners. But to be honest, like actually every single project is partner with every project, so it doesn't like represent something. So yeah, for me, it's all about the team, about also the roadmap, because the roadmap is like more the vision of the team, of the founder, and why this project is actually building, and why I have to like put money on this project. And then you can also sometime have, some equivalent to like shitcoin, but like in NFT, you know what I mean. And it's basically, I invest also in this type of NFT when I have like an information, from people, from huge investor who wanna just chill, who wanna invest. So yeah, it's more like, for me, it's more about the team in general. But I don't really care about white paper and all this shit, because like a white paper doesn't really represent a project, because I can do like the perfect white paper and do like just 10% of what I have right, so like it doesn't make sense for me. But yeah, it's more about the team in general. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I'm curious. So you said you're really involved with the Yuga ecosystem. What else has really caught your attention recently? Yeah, when you're talking
Mm,
about the team and like kind of that mantra.
yeah. For me, actually, the Yuga ecosystem, it's more like the more mainstream collection NFT. Like I think every single person here thinks the same thing, about Yuga. But Yuga, it's more like for the history, it will never, for me, in my opinion. of course it will never go very 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 down. Like the price can be divided by 2 or 3. But they will build, and they are actually building. So like, for me it doesn't matter, the price on my board ape, and why I'm actually holding 6 mutants and one board ape. It's because it's Yuga. It's Yuga, and Yuga, it's all about, it's not just a brand, it's a real ecosystem, all around all around the ecosystem. And it's actually what caught my attention. It's I think I don't know if you heard something about like a Mochaverse. No.
I don't think. Are you talking about the Dookie Dash?
No, Mochaverse. You don't know the
No, I don't
NFT
think that I
collection?
have. I don't think I've heard of it.
Oh, okay. So like, Mochaverse is like the NFT collection of Animoca brand, and like, if you have Bored Ape and Mutants, you can have, like, you are eligible, for the whitelist. And like, yeah, I think it's the last thing that's really caught my attention, because like the last pass that the launch, like, it's, for me, it's not really, it's just a pass, it will give you a career and access, to a game. But I'm not really hyped about the game, because it's like, first of all, it was about the metaverse. Now it's a game, and I'm lost. I'm just lost. I just want to see, like, really the final part and the final version, of what they are doing actually. But no, it's, for me, it doesn't matter, yeah, actually. But no, I'm most hyped by the by food pics, to be honest. But yeah, no, I will just see it's really like a long term investments. And yeah, that's all.
So Josh, you're kind of saying like you're in it for the culture in a sense. It sounds like it's the culture that attracts to you, right? You want to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
there
yeah,
early for that culture.
yeah, that's right.
Well, I'll tell you, like, okay, the only thing I'll say about the feet pics, like, I've got some, right? Like, I think it's a funny meme, and I'm holding on to them, but I'm not like, staking my life on the success of it. You never know when you've got random ass founders from random ass mints where the momentum is going to take it, and I think that's why, I went ahead and like I have a little position there in case it does do some type of run like a Goblin Town. But at the same time, it's a position that, I know honestly probably deserves zero. So if it goes to zero, I'm fine with that. But, like, hey, if it goes way higher, like, that's also fun, right? Like, so it's one of the things that, being involved with that and kind of being in the background. That's why I got exposure to it, because I think if you're in NFTs and, like, you do 100% cut and dry, like, you need a little bit of spice to be able to make things fun here and there. I'm not somebody that will go out and chase a new degen mint every single day and just watch my ETH, mint or burn to zero. But I think one every here and there can be fun. That's kind of why I ended up, just getting a little bit. But, at the same time, like, again, the danger of that, yeah, I got a DM from Johnny. I need more degeneracy. I probably, I might, but like, that's the thing, man. Like, at the end of the day, when you're depending on somebody else and it's a new thing, like, there's so much that could come with it, right? And I do believe, the market has trended so much recently across the NFT marketplace. I'm a big believer, and it may not be a popular opinion, but I am a big believer that the NFT marketplace isn't done. I think that, like, does gain momentum. It continues to gain strength. And what we saw recently, like, we saw a decent pickup in volume across the board, saw a lot of projects. Right now, a lot of that volume has gone to the sewer pass. But I'm a big believer that a lot of that ends up trickling down, and that we get that momentum back, especially as we approach, the Blur airdrop there in February. I think a lot of that continues. So, you know, in that mix, you're obviously going to have the quality projects continue to do well like they have, but I think you'll have the occasional degen mint that does well with it.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And to be honest, about the serial pass, the pass of the, like, of Yuga, I didn't know, that that they were a pass until this morning. Like a friend of mine sent me a message and he told me, did you claim your pass? I said, what the fuck are you saying, bro? Which pass, And he told me, bro, you didn't know that they
You can still claim it, right?
yeah. But I claimed it like so this morning. I think it was no yesterday morning. Sorry, yeah, it was yesterday morning. Yeah, it was. He told me, bro, you're crazy. Like you have a bored ape and 6 mutants, and you didn't even know that that there is a fucking pass. So yeah, it was funny, but yeah, no, now yeah, I've seen. I think the floor price is like a 2 hits now for the tier one, no, something like that.
Yeah, man. Like I'm looking at it, the sewer pass. I mean, they were down at 1.3 ETH just the other day, and they're all the way up to right around that 2 ETH area. So they've slowly been climbing, but I mean, it's been on insane volume too, because they've literally only been out since like let's see, basically 2 days, like 48 hours, and they've already done nearly 14,000 ETH of volume. So yeah, I mean, like, you could look at a lot of the top projects on OpenSea prior to this, and the top days on the top projects have been 1,000 ETH, right? 600 ETH, 500 ETH. So the fact that this has done 14,000 over 48 hours, dude, that is wild. And I really think a lot of that does rotate back across the rest of the market. You think about this too. A lot of this was a free claim for Yuga, Yuga holders too. So like, there's I don't see the free claim being something that extracts ETH from the ecosystem as much as I think that it injects ETH back into the ecosystem. So I think that there's just a lot of hype circulating around it right now. I do think a lot of that ends up trickling back down into other strong projects here soon.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So I'm curious, bro. Have you played that Dookie Dash game yet? I know you said that you were kind of disappointed that it was a game like that, but have you done the I guess Temple Run with the Yuga version of Temple Run?
Oh, then there is a game, like we can play.
Wait, bro, you didn't realize that?
No, bro, I thought it was
Dude,
just like
okay,
a
yes.
pass.
Like with the sewer pass, if you have the sewer pass, you're supposed to play this game that Yuga came out with. And I actually heard it's actually kind of fun. It's called Dookie
No.
Dash, right?
Oh, I will
So
try. I will try. Okay,
So you're
why?
supposed to go out and play Dookie Dash. And here's the thing with it. Apparently, your ranking, like you link your wallet and your ranking helps to, determine something about the traits that you end up getting on the mint itself. I'm pretty sure I'm a little bit unclear since I'm not really super involved with that, but that's what, my take is from being on the outside and hearing some other people talk about it.
Kaleo, can I just
Yeah, yeah.
interject? Um, is it Josh? What you got to do is you got to go to the Bored Ape Twitter. Make sure you go to the Bored Ape Twitter. But now you're going to have to scroll down a little bit, and basically, the best thing to do is they give you an option to are your apes that because you've got so many apes, are they all in ledgers and stuff like that? Josh,
Sorry. Yeah,
are
sorry,
your
sorry, sorry.
apes are your
Yeah.
apes in ledgers? Are they in a ledger?
No. No.
Okay, all
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
So
yeah.
then, so then, what you have to do is that even if they're not in a ledger, they've got two platforms whereby you can connect your wallet where your apes are, and then it will create another wallet, another hot wallet for you, so that when you do play the game, yes, your apes are not in danger of being compromised. Yeah, I forgot the thing. I'll look for it and I'll put it in the chat box down here. So that's the first thing you've got to do so that your apes are safe. And then I think you've got to connect to the website and whatever it is to play the
Okay.
game.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah. I
done
will check.
talking.
I will check on the Bored Ape Twitter course. Yeah, thanks, mate. Thanks.
You know, another option that you have, if you send your apes and the sewer pass over to me, I can qualify everything for you, and I can shoot it back your way right after. And actually, I'll double the apes. Whatever you give me in apes, whatever you give me in sewer passes, I'll double it. You know, so just let me know. I'll send you the ETH address if that works for you, and you won't even have to worry about playing the stupid ass game. Like, you can leave that to me.
Oh, thanks a lot, mate. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I really want to send it to you now. Yeah, can you send me the address, please?
Yeah, bro. I'll shoot it. Just kidding.
Yeah.
That is a freaking test, Josh. That is a test. And I'm here to protect ape holders. That is my mission in life, is protect another ape from being stolen. And I just freaking did it right now.
Actually,
I
I
was
would
kidding
never
you
too,
can
take.
bro.
send
I was
it to
kidding. I was
I,
kidding.
you can
I
send it
know.
to feedpicks.eth. Thank you very much. I'll help you with
Bro,
the Dookie Dash or whatever.
that's amazing. Oh yeah, no, please.
No, man, that is funny though. But yeah, bro, you should definitely check it out because I know that it definitely plays. It plays some type of role into the mix, and I heard it's kind of fun, but one way or the other, it definitely affects your mint. So you got to check it out. It is a gamified mint. So I think there are going to be a lot of other big names that kind of take off after this. But you know, everybody's acting like this is the first gamified mint ever. You know, like, I'm fairly positive it's not. I've heard of that meta dating back to 2021. And I forgot who did it, but there have been several other mints. You know, I guess Yuga's kind of played into it a little bit a couple times, where before you were allowed to mint, you had to play a game and pass X, basically kind of just make sure that you're not, you're not an NPC, and you're not a bot, and pass the human test, and if you do above X, then you're allowed to get into it. So I don't know, man. Like, a lot of people are down about the fact that some of the other shit is down right now, while everything's been sucked into this Yuga mint and this Yuga hype. Bro, I'm kind of the opposite. I don't know about y'all. I'd love to hear y'all's take, because again, I'm looking at this. You look on OpenSea, sewer pass volume 4,700 ETH. Next highest, which CryptoPunks are officially a Yuga asset now, 765 ETH. Third highest, Hasbula NFT. That's the one I'm most bearish about on here. Like, has those type of NFTs are pure ETH suckers. So that sucks at 500 ETH.
Dude, today's gonna
But
get worse, Claire. Did you see that Porsche's doing a mint 0.911 ETH for the Porsche 911s?
I'm glad you brought
That's
that
gonna
up,
be
Grok.
oof,
I saw
oof.
that, man.
That's
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah,
cash
dude.
grab and a half.
no, I didn't. Like, tell me how many are
Don't
there
know the
that, like.
supply. I'll pin the tweet up top. I'm gonna I'm gonna do some more digging, but that's gonna suck a lot of ETH out of the market today.
Well, but here's the thing with those. So there's part of me that really hopes that the average person that mints those isn't an NFT native. What percentage of the people do you think that do these type of mints do them because they're like huge Porsche aficionados and they learned how to go down, versus the number that are actually crypto native? I'd say that it's probably, man, it's still probably got to be 70 to 80
It
percent
it,
crypto,
it
slash
is. I
NFT
mean, but
native.
the Trump thing was weird though, because he got about 80% of the people from his own base that minted the Trump ones. But I guess that was just kind of like an outlier. Um, you know,
Well, it's also because he accepted credit cards, made it pretty easy with that. So a lot of people that then bought the Trump NFT didn't even know how to access it.
the price
So
point too, I guess, $100 is not a lot to ask for, but who's going to spend about $1,500 on this on the Porsche?
Porsche aficionados, bro, like, you let them buy that with a credit card. Hell yeah, they're going to go ahead and
Yeah,
pay
but I guess
that.
the Venn diagram of like rich crypto guys and Porsche appreciators, pretty much the same person.
So what you're saying is the credit card is the new meta coming out.
I mean, honestly, it kind of sounds. I didn't even realize that as I was saying it, but I mean, as far as if you've got which it's simpler than you think about if you just plug in, like there are multiple payment processors out there that just convert basically on the spot for ETH and, for whatever. But, you got to make sure that you work that integration into the mint page. And, but I mean, yeah, like I guess it does add to it, but it all just depends on the type. I think for the Web2 brands that, yeah, man, like why wouldn't a lot of these Web2 brands where the majority of their audience that's familiar with them doesn't know shit about crypto, why wouldn't they add in that type of payment processor?
Dude, this is going to take 7,500 ETH, man. There's 7,500 license plates. Look at the utility with this. Chance to attend exclusive virtual and real life events, special merchandise. Oh, you get a Porsche fanny pack. Nice. Unique traits from our artisan partners. One private airdrop for each first NFT owner. First NFT owner. Interesting. Exclusive Porsche BTS access. Co-creation of Porsche's Web3 future. I don't know.
Dude, it's just, okay, that's the thing that irritates me with a lot of these. As bullshit as this sounds, maybe I'm wrong here, and maybe this is not a based take, and people can take the other side of it. But that's the thing that fucking pisses me off about the majority of these Web2 brands that are entering in with NFTs is that they focus so much on this random ass utility that's way overpriced, right? Like if they were going to do something that was not an NFT and they were going to pay for this kind of lottery ticket type of access to those type of events, it'd be way cheaper. Actually, the majority of those type of events and things that they're saying that they would do, they typically just do as part of like larger, broader giveaways. But these, in a sense, just act as an overpriced lottery ticket for access because you're like, well, rather than 1 out of 1,000,000 chance of doing this, I now have 1 out of 7,500 or 1 out of 10,000 or whatever their mint is, right? So, like, it just, I don't know. I mean, I hate the meta behind the people that actually drive these.
Dude, this kind of, you know what this sounds like though? I feel like they probably were late to the game, and like they were working on this for a while, and the market's been dead, and now they have an opportunity to release this because this is like, so remember when like Doritos and like Nickelodeon, it's like any Web2 brand coming in doing the same shit. It's like the same stale playbook.
Well, when did they announce this? Because I hadn't heard anything about it before. If you like, you're probably right. If it's something that they just announced and it hasn't been like 3 or 4 months in the making about, hey, we've got something big, be on the lookout, be on the lookout in January. If they just announced this out of the blue, they definitely have a team that's been sitting on this project waiting for market momentum to pick up. And they were like, oh, everything looks good now. Let's go ahead and shoot for it.
Yeah, I gotta stay. I don't even want to like look into this. I mean, I don't even care if I like mid curve this, but like I'd rather waste my money on like feed picks than this shit. To be completely honest, like at least
I
at least
mean,
I know.
when you think about it, Croc, do you really think that with these Web2 brands coming in here and kind of like creating their own precedent, or at least trying to, with onboard new people, do you think that these new people that are on board with these like, credit card pump projects for Porsche, Trump, or whatever the fuck, do you honestly think that they'll adopt kind of the ecosystem that is truly being built in Web3, or do you think they'll
It
stay with
depends
that?
on the brand at the end of the day. Like I think really you got to look for like a mega influencer, someone like if like a Kanye. You need someone like so like famous or like that, or like Trump, you know what I mean? Like that kind of like rabid fan base or whatever is like what's going to keep the thing going, and where you probably won't get rugged because like it's kind of like a founder risk. All these things are like found like for the individual influencers. For the Web2 brands, I mean, it's cool. I mean, those people do have money, right? If you're driving a Porsche, you probably have, unless you're just one of those guys that just like leases the car and like you're just like living paycheck to paycheck. But I mean, for the most part, they probably have money. But I don't know if that you know like constitutes like long-term like value for this. And I don't know, I'm just probably saving like like again, you're buying like quality right now. And just because like you're flush with cash, you don't want to. It's the same thing, man. The people that had a lot of money during the last bull market kind of wasted it on shitty mints, you know. And I'm like, I'm not doing that now that I'm like in a good position. I mean, I was screwing around, but it's like screw around money, and you know, the majority of my stuff is in blue chip stuff. I'm not going to waste my money on these mints, even for like a quick flip, unless it's like a Mr. Beast or something, where I'm like, okay, this thing is going to full send. You know, I don't get that from this mint. It just seems really unoriginal and uninspiring to me.
Yeah, my hope is eventually one day there will be that onboarding into the ecosystem through mediums that are unconventional like this too, because people that have gotten into NFTs, they may get into one project. They don't know the ecosystem. Then they start getting involved with it. Then they start making connections, exploring different blockchains. And you know, the hope with onboarding people with stuff like this would hopefully make it a more advantageous space. But that's the ultimate question: whether or not they're in it for that, or whether they're in it just to be part of something cool like a Porsche license plate.
Yo, but hey, does anybody know the exact mint date for the Yuga Sewer Pass mint?
For the what, Yuga?
Yeah, for the Yuga, like, have they announced what the actual date will be? All I know is the gamified side of it, the Dookie Dash side, is going to last at least a couple of weeks. But I'm
Yeah.
not sure if they've announced an actual date for when the mint side of that is.
Okay. First of all, I just want to say hello to a couple of friends that have come into the room. Ricky, who's on stage, Mr. C down there, Low Sleazy, Low, Mr. C, Lucky Rabbit. They're cool. Come up, you know. So what I understand is, you get your sewer pass. You can play the Dookie Dash for up until the 8th of Feb. You must play at least one and get a score in order to be in line for the mint that happens after the 8th or whatever the summoning is. So that's the bottom line that I think everybody needs to know right now. Get your sewer pass, play at least once, and that puts you in line for the mint. And if I've got it wrong, you can come up and correct me. I'm done talking.
Appreciate that, Q. Yeah, like, so that's the thing with it too. From the looks of it, they're unlimited attempts too. So everybody's out there just playing
But
night.
I got a question for you.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Yeah, I saw Sam Bankman Fried retweeted your tweet. Yeah, about the whole thing and the new CEO and whatever it is. So, how many Wonky Stonks are stuck on FTX? And what was the value of your tweet and why he kind of retweeted? And then I saw that he even made another tweet saying that there is money on in the American FTX.
Dude,
I'm
so
done talking.
there are about 100 stonks stuck on FTX US. So from what I've talked to, though, like I've talked to somebody that officially still works there, and he thinks, like, again, he doesn't know anything about timeline or anything else, but from the unofficial communication back and forth between this guy, like, they, to me, it seems like there's a pretty good chance that those will eventually be unlocked. Everybody that deposited on there will be able to withdraw them. That it's just a matter of like clearing all the whatever the legal hassles are of being able to reopen the exchange, actually get to it. One of the cool things with NFTs are too that, verifiable ownership versus fungible tokens, right? Like with a fungible token, everybody can argue, well, who owns what percentage of what? With an NFT, I mean, one person can own one token. There's no fractional shares that are involved with it. So I think it's just a matter of wading through those legal hoops. They're basically, in a sense, they're basically locked for now. But, I'm fairly certain they will have an unlock date with that. But, one of the things that I've talked with recent people, like I'm going to work with whoever, if somehow they come out and they say, hey, guess what? These NFTs, we're just going to freaking burn them. And, there's no claim, there's no anything else with that. Like, I've got enough supply. I'm going to work with different people who have their NFTs stuck on there, make things right. So like, it's one of those things. It's an annoying process, but I'm fairly certain on the U.S. side of things that will reopen. Now, I was pissed off whenever he retweeted my tweet because I was like, man, what did I miss here? And is there something that like I should have clarified more if Sam agreed with it? But I actually really do think it's the right thing, right? Like, even if it's not the popular opinion, I mean, when there's new leadership under place, you've got this exchange that was massively popular because people liked, whether or not, talk shit about the matching engine how you want to, talk shit about the latency how you wanted to, but the overall structure of it, like, there were a lot of things that a lot of people liked. So I think that reopening that does, yeah, it's their highest value asset that they have left, right? And if you can prove that it still works, then why not go ahead and, again, I wouldn't trust them with it again. I don't care what ownership with it is. The name is tainted to me. I'm not going back to it. But that doesn't mean that other people wouldn't, and that they wouldn't be able to increase the value of said exchange by doing that. And if nothing else, I mean, yeah, this sounds shitty, but from the looks of it, it's kind of true. It almost looks like, you look at what happened with FTT, Serum, some of the other shitcoin projects that went to, basically zero after all that, they all pumped off of it. And if you're trying, if you're these people that are trying to recover assets for customers, I'm not surprised that they're trying to inflate the value of those to say, hey, look at how much we've recovered, even though they're doing exactly what SBF was doing before about the way that they'll book value. That's what I'm really curious on. I'm curious to see if, like, a week from now, John J. Ray comes back and he's like, hey, look at this. We've actually increased, we found another $1 billion. And then you look at like the underlying statements for what the $1 billion are, and it's the exact same assets. It's just FTT and some of these other illiquid coins have started to climb.
Yeah, but Sam Bankman-Fried had always said that the American side was liquid, and FTT is flying now. It's like $2.40 or something like that from a low. So what's happening there?
Well, first and foremost, FTT was never associated with the US side of the exchange. You couldn't even buy FTT on FTX US. So those were completely separate from one another. I think the real thing is, I think that they're talking about, I mean, maybe I'm wrong here. I need to read through some of the statements. I've kind of honestly just been in this state recently where I got so burned out on FTX news that even though it affects me, I kind of tuned out a little bit the past couple of weeks. But I'm pretty sure that they were talking about restarting both the international and the U.S. Maybe I'm wrong on that. If it's just the U.S., like I again see no reason why they couldn't. The biggest thing that they suffered was that hack where they lost a couple $100 million worth of tokens, but their bank and their accounts were completely separate. Like this may be an unpopular opinion, but like I really do trust Brett Harrison when I talked to him. I've had several conversations with him, like before and after whatever happened. But after what happened, he called me like a day after, and this is when he, wasn't with FTX US anymore. He's pursuing his own thing. He just completed a raise for his new company that he's starting up right now, his new project. But yeah, so he called me just to commiserate about what happened. And he was like, man, this freaking sucks. I'm blindsided by this, basically outlined everything that he outlined in that tweet thread the other day. And we were talking back and forth on it. And he was like, yeah, luckily he's like, I see no way how the FTX US side can be hindered. We were completely separate. He was, and this was, him not being an employee at that time. But he's like, I just don't see how the FTX US side could be affected from this. And, somebody that was the president of the FTX US side, I doubt that he would like call me just to talk through that. if he was completely full of shit with it, like I'm pretty sure he'd understand what was going on. So I think he was taken off guard the same as everybody else when it was shut down, even though he wasn't involved with it. But like, I have a hard time seeing how the U.S. side really is, as you know, why it needed to be shut down with everything else. I think everything's going to be okay there. It's just a matter of, you know, a little bit of patience.
No, I just want to say hello, Kaleo. Have I said your name right? Is it Kaleo?
Yeah, actually, that's perfect, Ricky. Welcome up to the stage.
Yeah. So Q talks very highly of you. Actually, I've never. I do apologise. I don't know you.
No, no
And
apologies at all.
no,
Thanks for
Q.
coming on.
I'm talking. Q.
Yeah, but you meant
No,
to say
I'm
hello to
talking.
me first as well. You meant to say hello
Oh
to
well,
me.
I'll blow you a kiss. There you go. Well, there you
Thank
go,
you.
Mr.
There
Q.
you go. Thank you.
But yeah, I apologise. I didn't know you actually. And then if you don't know my name, I also apologise because this is my jungle and you're here. And so I thought I'd check you out, and you seem to be a good old boy actually. So that's okay. You can continue with your spaces and continue in the NFT space if you want to. Just checking you out, making sure that you're all right. But yeah, good to be here. Nice to meet you. Like I say, good friend of mine, Q. He talks highly of your rooms. He says you should come in, see him. He's a good old boy. That's all right. I will. And then I've been listening. I've even been cuddling my little baby boy. So yeah,
And
I actually
you've been
sent you a
rude.
DM. I actually
But
sent you a DM the other day,
Ricky,
Calais,
you're
because
rude. Ricky,
why
you're
am I
rude. You
rude?
haven't introduced yourself. You haven't
Yeah,
told
well,
anybody who you are.
Well,
You're
if
just
people don't
talking.
know me, then I apologise. I've
Yeah,
already
well, you
fucking
have to
apologised, haven't
be
I?
polite and introduce yourself. Come on.
Well, fuck's sake. I've apologised already. I mean, okay. So Calais, if you don't know me, and if anyone here doesn't know me, I do apologise. I actually have the first lions of the blockchain. When the Bored Apes did their thing, I had 100 lions. I also have lion cubs, and I also have jungle apes. But I've had a media production company for over 22 years. I've directed and done cinematics for Disney and Nemo and pretty much everything. And then came into the NFT space probably 2.5 years ago, something like that. Bought a lot of NFTs, came in as a collector, bought many, many NFTs, and actually feature in Johnny Kaplan's latest TV show that he has about NFTs and stuff. It's on Amazon Prime. It's like a 6-part, 30-minute episode. I had the first conference in the UK. We had about 3,000 people on NFTs back in 2021. And then I talked NFT London last year because NFT NYC came to my town and my city. I was like, hang on. And then Q and I, we have a number of spaces and have a lot of friends in this space because, your network is your net worth. So you keep growing friends. And I love the fact, actually, that what I've noticed and what you've been doing is something that Q was talking about, actually, is the fact that you have been bringing the sort of charts into the NFTs. Because I think it's quite important for people to understand and have a respect for the charts and crypto as well as NFTs and to understand it. And like I'm not from the crypto world. I sort of come into it like 2020. I'm very much the media, film, and animation world. But when Bored Apes launched their apes, I launched the lions, and I used to have fun with them because they were going to talk about their yachts. And I said, you can do that, but we the lions own many marinas, own the marina. So we said, you can do that, but we own the fucking marina. So I used to sort of play with all of the different projects. And then obviously, lots of projects become rug pulls. But we have a very strong community that's organically growing. And I'm an OG because I'm an old git. And actually, a cool thing today, I came back from the hospital for being 5 years clear on cancer because I actually had that 5 years ago. And so then I went, right, I'm hunting down everything. Because I realized my 10-year-old boy's dream by being an animator and doing all that shit. And now I'm like, well, actually, the NFT space allows me to shine light on artists, make friends, and connect. So my kids have friends all over the planet, which is what they have right now. So when Q was saying about your room, I was like, okay, I'll send Galileo a message. I sent you a video message about a week or so ago. Get you busy. And then I thought I'd come in and say hello. So sorry for taking up the oxygen in your room and rattling on like I have been. But thank you for having me up here and, keep doing what you're doing, my friend.
Hey, no apologies necessary whatsoever, man. I mean, it's it's tough, and I apologize too. I won't even lie. Like, it's tough for me to keep up with the DMs of the people that I follow. So unfortunately, I rarely am able to even go through the ones of the people that I don't. So, but that's one of the great things about these spaces are typically if somebody really wants to reach me and they really want to be able to talk and, communicate, then they can come up on one of these spaces anytime and have a conversation. So, it really just shows me the hustle of if somebody's got something important enough, like, they're going to make the effort and it'll be worth it in the long run. So that's kind of the way that I filter through a lot of that type of info anyway, right? Like, people that have something that is a you know, good enough opportunity, somebody that's a person that is worth making the connection for, like they'll make the effort. And like, hey, I'm sure there are a couple that I miss along the way. But again, that's the thing that's kind of tough eventually whenever you reach a platform and you've got so many different possible connections and so much, different reach across the space, is that it gets tough whenever you're a
It's
one-man show
okay.
to go through it
It's
all.
all right. I forgive you. It's okay. You will stumble in the jungle and I don't have to set my lions on you. It's all good. You got a pass for now. If you misbehave, I'll just set the lions on you. And I've got quite a few lion cubs, so the community's pretty strong. But I'll
Plato
forgive.
Army's pretty strong.
I'll forgive you. Hey, look, when you live in a world of animation since 10, this is like NFTs is like properly my world. I'm just like, haha. Try and talk to people. I work with brands as well, but imagine talking to Web 2 and they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Lions? What? You've got what? And they're what? And it's really funny because after Amazon Prime doing that TV, everyone was like, oh, I saw you on that. Oh, wow. So you're not that completely mad. I'm like, yeah, probably am mad, actually. But now you want to know about it, don't you? And so it's really interesting. But it's a very, very cool space. How long have you been in this space? Because I've sort of noticed you having rooms the last sort of couple of months. But I've never noticed your rooms before. So how long have you been in the space?
So I've been involved with crypto since 2017. So like primarily when I first got involved, it was back in like January of 2017 when I actually first really heard when Bitcoin, Ethereum first clicked to me. So in the background, kind of invested, slowly started trading later on as the altcoins started to pop off, in April, May of 2017. And I lurked in the background of the crypto Twitter space for a while. And I followed a bunch of these accounts. And, the more I followed, the more degenerate I became. And eventually, I didn't want to talk about crypto from my personal account because I didn't want the judge of other people. Then there's also like the safety aspect. Everybody that was on crypto Twitter was anonymous. So I made this anonymous account, just to be kind of like a journal and a way to connect deeper with people. And that was in September of 2017. And from there, slowly just grew the account over the course of the rest of that bull market and then into the bear market, over the next several years, and just became a way to be able to connect with people. And I think that, you've probably seen this too, Ricky. Whenever you start to make connections in this space, it becomes more and more difficult to escape the black hole that are those connections and that is the interest of the crypto space and the allure of it in general. And, more than anything else, it's like I enjoy the connections, but I also really do believe in the potential of the technology and the potential of this market for where it's going. And like, I really, I believed then, and I still believe now that it's early. If you look in the right places. And right now, I think so. I continued down that more trading centric path for a while. And that's why whenever I finally introduced an NFT collection, as NFTs started to come up, I did the Wonky Stonks as a free mint for my followers because, I won't even lie, at the very beginning when we first introduced it, I just wanted a way to be able to, connect deeper to my audience and to be able to introduce something that was authentic to my brand. And I felt like charts were that, right? And I wanted to do something different, something that hadn't been done before. And I hadn't really seen anybody that had done any type of derivative of what the Wonky Stonks are. So, Buddy Hondo was the one who wrote the algorithm for the generative art behind the stonks. I worked a lot with him in kind of working through different iterations on ideas for that, developed a product.
When did you launch them?
It was October of 2017. 2021.
Oh,
So
okay.
October 19th, 2021. And yeah, man, it was like the cool thing about that. If you look at it, I was actually hosting a space that had a couple thousand people in it because Bitcoin was breaking a new all-time high. And again, even though I didn't have the prominence in the NFT space, I've been a fairly prominent individual in the crypto Twitter space for the past several years. Fortunately, whether I deserve that or not, like, I'm not going to argue, but like, one way or the other, had that platform and had the opportunity to speak to a lot of people. So I dropped it as a stealth launch during that space. So there wasn't a lot of hype surrounding it because I don't like what a lot of projects do to, develop artificial hype. And whether or not like I could have done more back then, who knows? But like one way or the other, it's just been a project that has persisted with me. But, the thing is, I didn't really make the connection at this time. I think it's part of the arrogance that you have whenever you are working in an individual echo chamber that I had this bubble, and my bubble was crypto Twitter. And I crossed over slightly to the NFT side, but I really didn't realize how different the two communities were. And it took.
Do you prefer the NFT one? It's like proper dangerous. The NFT one, you get addicted. There's too many cool people.
I think the more I've gotten plugged in, man, I'm starting, I think, to actually prefer it a little bit more.
Because it's interesting that you say this as well, because I remember like way back in like probably in 2020, and actually you'll know Chris then from MMC Crypto, or you'll know of him and Ben and all them lot when they do stuff, and they were sort of not into Twitter, but that's where I was sort of learning the graphs initially, and they sort of grown considerably. But there's not too many really bridging the gap like you are at the moment with the charts and understanding that, and I think that's really important because history doesn't repeat itself; it does rhyme. NFTs are different, but it's still, it's still an investment. There's still like altcoin to a degree. And I think actually educating and just making people aware of it through like bull markets, bear markets, because for a lot of people right now, the bear market's the first time they've ever been in it, and they're panicking, there's a lot going on. So I think it's important what you're doing. And I like the fact you've brought the graphs to it actually, and I even more like the fact that you didn't fake pump the project, because that's so frustrating. All these projects.
Have you looked at a Wonky Stonk, Ricky? Have you looked at a Wonky Stonk?
Well, I have. I'm like you. I was a nosy getting looked in your wallet because you were
very good.
Wonky Stonk. So I've had a look. That's the joy of this. The NFTs, you get to be nosy and get to see. And then everyone has to do their own research, right? So that's another thing that's massively important. But like I said, Q said he's a good old boy. The spaces are very cool. You should come in, and I actually love the fact. I don't know how old you are, but I love the fact that you're not like a kid going, "Yo, bro, when the moon, yeah, let's go." I fucking can't understand any of that shit. So I'm really pleased that you're not doing that. So yeah.
Well, I appreciate it, man. I think that I hit a nice medium as far as the NFT space, as far as the age bracket goes. So I'm definitely not a Zoomer. I wouldn't quite consider myself a boomer either. I think I'm a little bit in between. Enough years of experience to know, hopefully, have a little bit of a grounds of, little bit of reasoning when to bring the hype, when to hold it back. But yeah, man. So I mean, it's been one of those things. It's been a fun journey because if it were about the hype for the project, right? Like there were a lot of opportunities that I feel like I could have introduced hype vehicles. For instance, we've had no roadmap other than we vibe and then we vibe harder, right? Like that's the roadmap that I introduced from day one, and that's what I've stuck to. And it's a little bit of a corny NFT term, the vibes in general, right? But I think that it does fit the heart of the project because I really want it to be fully about the art. And I believe that that's enough, right? I think that when you have a community centered around art rather than searching for, well, what is the next level of utility for this, that it is a stronger, longer term community. And that's what I want the Stonks to be. I don't want it to be something about what is the next hype vehicle to be able to drive this. I want it to be a community of people that appreciate the art and see that enough or as enough, the art and the history behind it. And I truly do believe that by cultivating that type of community, if you can build that up, right? Like you can do anything in this space. That is so much more powerful than having some roadmap full of empty promises.
No. And so I was going to ask you, and I think you sort of answered it, because I was going to say, what does success look like for you then?
So yeah, success to me looks like, just slowly getting, one of the things that has really also opened my eyes as I've, the past month, I've been on this mission where I said, okay, I made a commitment where I was going to be hosting and involved in these spaces every single day this year until the Wonky Stonks hit a new ETH all-time high. And, you know, why I did that isn't, again, it doesn't necessarily go back to the fact I don't care how long it takes, Ricky, right? If it takes 2 more days, great. If it takes 2 more months, great. Like, one way or the other, I believe in seeing something through when I make that type of commitment. And if you look at a lot of the other projects that have gained success in this space, it starts from just this core community that believes in the vision together, that they put in the work and they show up. And I just want more and more people to know about the stonks, right? Because even the people that have been out there, there's some people that know about the stonks, that have heard about them, that didn't even know that they were generative art. They thought that they were just like pictures of a chart that we took from TradingView and then like added some different colors and stuff to. They didn't realize that the price action was fully generative, that, there were algorithms in the background that bucketed that price action. And that randomized everything that went into it, right? Like, so I think that getting the history out there, especially as like the CT side of, starts to grow more into NFTs, and also as the NFT side starts to look more at charts, I think that the art behind it will begin to connect with more and more people. So I think that it's just a matter of, there are the people out there, there are 8,736 stonks. I believe fully there are more than 8,736 people that this vision connects with. It's just a matter of, positioning yourself for that. So that's kind of my vision. That's what I believe that success looks like, right? I'm not in a hurry. Eventually, like, I would love LedgArt. I believe that there's going to be enough demand for the stonks that it warrants bringing in new generative collections. And
there's 8 billion people on the planet, right? And there's a lot of people coming in. So educating people that the space isn't all pump and dump and scams. In fact, making people aware that there's communities and friendships and ecosystems being born and fusions of technology and art. That's exciting. And the pressure on projects and individuals and artists to sell can be so high. But actually, with so many people coming in daily, it doesn't matter, because you just get new people on board because they discover you for the first time. Your project launched in 2021. My project launched in 2021. You never heard of each other. And that's the space. Like, you treat the day like no one knows you every day, then that's a lot better, because people get to discover each time. And that, I think, makes a fun journey rather than one full of pressure that a lot of people put themselves under, I believe. So that's cool.
Yeah, man. And, that's the thing. It's like, if you can do these spaces and just have one more person, every day that hear about it. I also believe in the power of, exponential growth, where there's going to be some type of parabolic exponential growth that happens in the NFT space sometime soon. Like, it is not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So, that's the way that crypto markets work in general. You have a lot of flat, a lot of consolidation, and then you have rapid growth, right? So as much as people think the opportunity in the crypto market is spread out over years, it is. But the actual real upside to it is usually a much briefer window, right? So it's about the people that have that conviction to stick around whenever it's not up only every single day, that are going to be the ones best positioned to take advantage of that opportunity.
I believe that. I believe that fully. I think keep turning up, be in the river, not the rock, right? Because everyone sees the success of stuff, but they don't see the blood, the sweat, the tears, and the effort that goes in. Like I've been in animation, film, and I've had my media company over 22 years, and I wake up every day and think, what the fuck is going on? Every day is a learning day. I think no one's an expert in this space. There's no right or wrong. There's just different. And I think everyone having a different chapter of their journey can learn from each other. So I think it's quite interesting. But I'm sorry for I've taken the oxygen in your room. I just thought I'd say hi, and it was nice to meet you. And I'm interested to find out more about your project and your community. And I know some of my community will come in too. But yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
Don't apologize, man. I mean, hey, I respect what you're saying, and whether it's the Lions, the Stonks, whatever else out here, right? Like, I think that we share that same vision that it's just a matter of continuing to show up, continuing to put in the work, and that eventually you work hard enough, and if you have a product that you believe in, like, it'll eventually speak for itself. So, White Rabbit, welcome up to the stage again. Thank you for joining us. How's it going?
Going good, man. Thanks for having me up here. You guys are doing an awesome job with the space today, and I always enjoy you guys' spaces. The '80s baby, I jump into a lot of his spaces. Wanted to shout him out. He's always awesome to listen to. Had just a couple of questions for you. One of them was, do you make any recommendations on how people can be a little bit more secure when they're linking their wallets or doing things like that in not just your collection, but any collection out there?
I wish that I could come out and say that I was, after the amount of time that I've spent in this space, should I be an expert on security? I should be better, but you can see that by, some of the, like, heck, there was a Bitcoiner recently that was like diehard member of the Bitcoin community. It takes a ton of precautions. He slipped up, right? So the question is, in this space, is anybody an expert? I don't know. Here are the things that I do know. I just treat everything as simple and cautious as possible. And it's worked for me so far, right? Like, I don't chase after, if you've got a hot wallet that has NFTs, bro, be careful with that, right? Like, honestly, the smartest thing to do if you're going to pursue a new mint and you don't trust it, like, use a fresh wallet with just the number of ETH that you need to be able to mint that out, right? If you want to connect to different sites, just do as, much due diligence as you can of making sure that you are connecting to the authentic site, right? Following authentic links through authentic channels. But realistically, I think the biggest thing that gets a lot of people when you hear about these hacks, it's some type of FOMO or too good to be true opportunity, right? Where people,
Right.
So I think that it's just a matter of, like, avoiding that greed. And then little things too, if you are storing something on a ledger, I've seen recently where people have used ledgers to, approve transactions for mints or something else. And, when you're opening up your ledger to some random contract for approvals, I mean, heck, there's some malicious approvals that will go through a ledger that won't even go through a hot wallet, that, like, MetaMask and stuff are designed to, be able to filter through and make sure that shit doesn't get approved. So, like, I think when you're using a ledger cold storage for any of your NFTs or ETH or whatever else it is, basically only use it for transferring in and out of your hot wallet, right? Like, don't use it for anything else outside of purely that, right? Like, it shouldn't be the medium of approving any other outside transactions. So I
Correct.
think
Yeah.
just little things like that are, if you just do the little things, be careful, avoid the things that are too good to be true, don't get greedy. Like, I think you've got a high chance of being able to protect your assets.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I always try and recommend to people use a fresh wallet, or if you're trying to do anything that requires you to hook your wallet up to something, to be able to, get whitelisted for something, or even to be able to just prove that you have a particular NFT for a project. I always try and tell people, be really, really careful. Make sure that whatever is needed is the only thing that's in the wallet that you're connecting, because, you connect something with 300 NFTs in it, there's a high chance of you losing some of your NFTs if you're not being really careful. I just think that security is something that should be talked about a lot more on these spaces, so that people are aware and realize kind of what's going on. I mean, my brother and I, we've unfortunately learned through the fire of this kind of stuff, and we've lost a lot of NFTs in the process. Crypto. I mean, we've been in the space a long time, so as far back as losing money on BitConnect.
You know, another level to this too that I don't think that we talk about enough is the people who make fake accounts, like Kaleo fake account would DM you, hey, I have this, that, and the other, and you just click on a link. That murders people in this space, man. And
Yeah.
we get excited because we have somebody with 500,000 followers, you know, messaging you, but it's really a fake account and they're trying to scam you. So that's another level to it too. And it goes the same way in Discord. A lot of Discords, they get hacked and they make the same type of account that maybe a mod might have, and you trust that mod, you trust that person, but doing that little bit of due diligence to see if their number is wrong or their profile is wrong, it's just that extra level that can really protect you too, man.
Yeah, just doing a little bit of your own research. Make sure that you do due diligence when you're, I mean, when you're connecting your wallet to anything. It's really, I think, a serious thing because, I mean, this is people's livelihoods that we're talking about. You can you can put yourself in a really bad situation emotionally if you make just a simple error, not checking somebody's profile that sent you a DM for sure. Yeah.
Let's see, we got Shoot, pretty boy Shoot. What's up, brother? Welcome to the stage.
Hey, what's up, Kaleo? Firstly, thank you so much for bringing me up. I appreciate it. I've been following you and your calls and all your tweets for a very long time, and I appreciate everything you do in the crypto space and the Web3 space, and just I'm sure you helped not only me but many other people in this community. My first question I had for you, I had just two questions. Was I'm not sure if you saw the news regarding the Twitter coins. Basically, a lot of people are trying to do the spaces and make their own space, and because of the upcoming coins that Elon or so I saw the leak. Someone tweeted it out about the upcoming coins coming out. My question was, do you have any advice for upcoming people that want to start their own space, and any advice or ideas to give them? And two, do you think they're gonna implement crypto? And I'm sure that's a lot of speculation, and just I wanted to hear your opinion on that.
What do you mean by start up their own space before I dive into answering the question?
So I saw this thread that a lot of people want to start doing their own space just to get their name out there, and do like you do every week or every day, have their own space, talk about Web3 or talk about the market, and these influencers are going to be I saw paid in coins. So I saw on my feed, at least, I'm seeing a lot of new people starting their own space, and I just think that's a great thing. I wanted to see if you have any advice for people like that.
Yeah, man. I think that, like, you can even look at the Room 110 guys in here, right? Like they're in that same journey that you are, and I mean, heck, I'm in the same spot too, where cultivating an audience doesn't happen overnight. I think that what's important and what's really helped me out, I mean, Q can attest to this. You've got to get out there, get in other people's rooms, make those connections, right? And at the same time, host your own spaces, right? Like those, you may only have a few people that are showing up to it, but those connections that you make with a few people that are showing up every day are going to be the connections that are able to push you through to whatever that next level is. So, it's a mixture of both, getting up here, just being a voice, hopping around through different audiences, getting exposure through that and making those connections. And I think eventually, hey, if you provide honest feedback, if you are, showing up and just being yourself, that authenticity attracts an audience at a certain point. So, just be yourself, pursue that. And you got to be patient with it too. It's got to be something that you really enjoy, because if you're doing it just for the fact that, okay, I want to do this and I want to become X type of influencer with X amount of following, bro, you're going to get burned out in the process, right? Like, so you've got to do something that's authentic to you, that you're passionate about. And I really think from there, good things just come naturally to those who wait.
And be consistent with it. Just be consistent, brother.
Thank you. Thank you. Just to add on about that, I do agree with you that the people that just want to do it for the greed and for the clout are going to fail. I do agree with what Ricky said before about there's just so many different types of people in this community and this space that you can meet and that can just help you in life, you know, whether it's your business or investing or whatever it is. And I just think the opportunity is all out there for everyone. So again, thank you for answering my question.
Yeah, of course, man. Thanks for joining. Caesar, you got your hand up. What's going on? And we'll kick it over to Ricky.
Mr. fucking Khalil, bro. Man, it's always a fucking pleasure listening to you, man. So much alpha always. Probably it's the Twitter spaces with the best alpha, man. Always, man. Always fucking mature. Like, you get my point, like lots of wisdom, the velocity of the words. Always, always fucking making like good feelings in the brain. Bro, I have actually a couple of questions because I mean I saw people asking you questions, so I said, man, I also want to ask some questions. I was wondering two questions. I have more questions, but for tonight, I think these two are very good for me. You know, like who is your Kaleo? Let's say you are my Kaleo. Like I learn a lot from you, and I actually for real learn a lot from you. Who is your Kaleo, man? Who do you learn from? Like what Twitter accounts do you follow? Like who are those influencers or those people that you fucking listen to them and you're like, wow, man, this fucker told me something today. You remember like you get impressed about the level of knowledge that they have. Are you impressed of someone? Like, do you follow someone? That's the first question. And the second one, a bit unrelated to it. I was because you know I'm also grinding every fucking day, and I saw that my screen time is 14 hours a day, man, and that's only the phone. So combine that shit with the laptop, dude. I'm fucking living digital world every fucking day of my life. So I'm a bit worried about it. So I was also wondering about your in real life balance with your digital life balance, and if you can also say like how much is your screen time and that stuff, man. So those are my two questions for today, bro.
You know, my screen time feels like it's 26 hours a day, but I think that it's actually right now closer to 11, which is still a lot. You know, like I was down to 7 or so, you know, throughout like the fall, and that felt pretty healthy. But, you know, in the bull market, bro, I've seen it up to 14, 15, which is insane. But, you know, there are just periods where I feel like, you know, putting in that extra hustle adds like, you know, exponential value. So, you know, whether it's the healthiest thing or not is another debate. But I don't know, man. As far as like who's my Kaleo, like this may sound bad, nobody. There are people I respect in the space, people I'm friends with, but you know, I want to do my own thing. At the end of the day, I don't want to gravitate necessarily toward any individual and say I want to be like them. Like I want to be the best me I can, right? And I think that's kind of always been my approach. I mean, there were people back whenever I was a smaller account that I would simp because I'd be like, man, I want their follow. But like thinking back on it, I just wanted their engagement. I wanted their recognition and I wanted their engagement because I respected the audience that they built. You know, I liked the work that they did, but it didn't mean that I wanted to, you know, style my content around theirs. I still was doing my own thing, but, you know, I just wanted them to respect me for what I was doing. And I still feel like that right now. You know, there's still people that I'm like, you know, I want to make those connections deeper. I want their respect, but it doesn't mean that I want to be like them. Like, I don't know if that makes sense at all. But yeah, you know, especially in the NFT space, I feel like there are several people that like, you know, are influential in the space that I still just haven't had the chance to make those connections with that I want to be able to. I want, you know, you want recognition. And, you know, that's something that really does inspire me is recognition in the space and making those connections. So like working toward that.
Got it, bro. Kaleo, one small thing. I see this guy, 80s. I mean, he's an amazing guy. How do you guys decide to work together? I mean, what's the connection? What's the magic there in between you and the 80s? I love the duo, man. I love the duo. I think that you guys complement each other very well. That's why I'm saying it.
Bro, I don't know. Ask 80s. Ask 80s why he's crazy enough to come up here.
I simped hard on him for like 3 months, and then he just finally caved in. No, I'm joking. We started our relationship, I think, after a couple days after Mint in the Wonky Stonk community. I just sent him a very genuine message, kind of the same way that you guys come up here and explain how you guys feel about him. And from there, we just hit it off with good intentions, talking about the project, talking about building community. And we ended up meeting in real life at Art Basel 2021. And I think I've been really trying to hold back this feeling, my soul.
Hey, don't stop talking, 80s.
Sorry, I just had to do that.
It's so loud in my headphones. Sorry.
I can put it subtle for you. There you go.
Subtle. There you go. Get the vibes right. We had lunch and we just exchanged energy between one of each other, and we talked about life. We talked about accomplishing things in life, what we've been through in life, and having that in real life energy connection between the two of us. I think we just hit it off, and from there we've always just stuck together. I don't know any other way to put it, but we've just been ride or die with each other ever since. And I helped him a lot with the Wonky Stonk community, along with me and a couple other guys. And we just built that personal relationship through time and staying convicted, staying consistent with our relationship and building those good vibes for one another so we can ultimately get to this point right here. So it's been an amazing journey having you as a friend, Kaleo. You've helped me out in so many personal ways. I've helped you out in so many personal ways. And that's like the ethos of what the human connection is. And the NFT space brought us together, man.
And his wife supported the entire thing, too.
Yeah, right. She did, man. She did. She still does. And she loves that what we have built here because she sees the happiness in me and what I've also overcome in my life to get to this point right now is a huge testament to Wonky Stonks, Kaleo, Hondo, and the entire community and all the people that I've met in here.
Amazing, bro. Amazing. Fucking love story. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for sharing.
Bro, Ricky. Ricky, damn, man. That was intense.
Well, I just thought it was fitting, guys. You know, that's all. I mean, Q was getting all romantic then. He was like thinking, oh man, he's missing out. In fact, he would probably went, oh man, he's missing out. So yeah, you know, the guy who was talking earlier was talking about security. There is an unsung hero. Now, obviously everyone has to do their own research, but probably about 2 months ago, I got properly scammed and I was really pissed because I lost Other Side, Omniforce, all sorts of stuff. But if it's right with you that I could pin a superhero at the top, because Simone Art is one of the most skilled and most amazing people in cybersecurity for NFTs and things like that. She's got like 16 years cybersecurity. She did all the clubhouse rooms. There's like a DAO they have where artists and NFTs, if they ever get caught and they don't have ETH, she's actually does rooms about this and she has like a book and stuff, but she's a really, really a great gem in this space. And I think when people get scammed or when they see it, everyone goes, oh yeah, talk to this person, talk to that person. You don't really know who the true heroes are. So if it's okay, I wouldn't mind pinning her thing to the top because for all of you, she really is.
Please do, Richard.
Yeah, she is the go-to person. She did a book that she created. She sold it as an NFT. It's all about cybersecurity, which I'll pin at the top. But check her out because she's trusted by so many in the NFT space. And when I got scammed and I said stuff coming out of my wallet, oh my God, what do I do? And they were about to take all of my crypto voxels as well. I phoned her and she spoke to her and she said, Ricky, don't worry, we'll go through it. And we sorted it and I managed to get control of my wallet again, which was super important. So when you're talking about security, I'll just bring her to your attention. Obviously, everyone do your research, but she is an unsung hero in the space and a lot of people respect her in the space too. So I just thought I'd share that if that's okay with you.
Oh,
yeah, of course.
Thank you, Ricky.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Ricky. I'll definitely show her some love on her Twitter and repost some of her stuff.
I see we have let's see, Brian. Brian's on the stage. Do you want an opportunity to speak, brother?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Kalio. I just got here because Cesar, who is on the stage, showed me the way. I've been listening carefully to all your contributions and comments, and it's pretty funny because I'm kind of new to being brave enough on taking the I would say bravery to jump on stage and talk out loud what I think regarding the topics. And I thank you for that because, I was also discussing earlier with Cesar that, that the space is played with a lot of false positivity. And, it's pretty amazing. Actually, I'm amazed, it's clear for me that you are not here for the numbers, but for the value you can provide. Like this space must be crowded, and yeah, I just wanted to say that. And as well, I have a question, like, how what things are you looking at right now, aside from I'm not talking about your portfolio, but what do you think are the is going to be the future for the upcoming altcoins? I mean, we are all saying, or we are all looking for the tech or for the project, for instance. But I think that a lot of I don't know, blockchains or protocols like I are underrated. For instance, I am a lot into Polkadot, but I'm more like in the geek side. But what do you see on the protocols on the chains, so in order so you can or they can get your attention, Calio? I don't know if my question was clear.
I mean, honestly, like this may sound bad right now, but I'm not looking at a lot outside of what I'm tweeting about right now. There are a lot of interesting NFT projects. I'm interested in playing Bitcoin and ETH. I'm not looking for a ton of other alts. Not to say that there aren't a lot that have potential right now, but this may sound incredibly boring. And I'm looking at doing a little bit more alt trading, some alt setups like I used to, but I'm just not as interested in playing the alt market until realistically the next rally here, 2024, 2025. Even though I think that we're going to get a strong bear market rally here, I could see Bitcoin going to 40K plus before it, has some type of retracement. I like, it may be 2019 PTSD, but like in 2019, Bitcoin just absorbs so much of the liquidity. And you can even look at it right now with the Bitcoin dominance chart. Like it still is, right? Like a lot of alts are breaking down versus BTC. So that strength there, I think, is something not to ignore. So as far as just like, the trading side of it, like I'm primarily playing BTC and ETH. I'm primarily looking at ETH because I still think NFTs have the potential to outperform. I think there are a lot of things that are there. Like, again, we've seen signs recently where a lot of these quality projects have bounced. And I get that they've had, a little over a week now where everything's kind of cooled off. But I still think that a lot of that momentum's going to come back. Like every healthy expansion needs a second to breathe. So, just staying patient with that, sticking the course. I'm going to kick it over to Sandman. Sandman, welcome up to the stage. I'm not sure if that's your art there on your banner, but if it is, it's pretty badass.
Thank you. Yes, it is. And there's plenty more in the link tree and stuff, so I appreciate you mentioning. I just wanted to ask Ricky a question about when he was getting drained. What were the actual steps that you took to take re-control of your wallet? And can you just, not that it'd be an expert explanation or whatever, but it's like, this is what I did and this is how it stopped it.
Yeah, well, so actually what happened was, and this is a nightmare with this space. it was quite late, and I woke up and I saw there was a Yuga Labs advert on Twitter, and it was yugalabs.com with a double S, and it had a commercial saying Yuga were doing a World Cup piece with Adidas, and anyone who had other side land or anything could mint a free NFT. So I was like tired, and I thought, oh, cool. So I connected to the site, and it crashed on my phone. So I was like, that's strange. And then I went in to like the studio, sat down, connected, set up the computer, and connected on there. And it sort of crashed again, but I opened it up, and I had obviously signed a contract. And I was like, okay, as I'm obsessed with NFTs, I obviously then went to OpenSea to have a look to see what this potential NFT was, because I could have closed it down at that point. And then I was like, fuck, my Anthony Hopkins were leaving my wallet. My Bad Dogs were leaving my wallet. And then I could just basically see everything leaving my wallet, and it was queued. And I was like, oh my God. So I actually posted out a video on Twitter saying, what the, my wallet is now being drained. What do I do? Because obviously, you know, the community being awesome as it is. And then lots of friends connected, and they messaged me and they said, oh, do this and do that and unconnect. And I was like, okay, cool. But obviously I know Simona. I got one of her NFTs way back when. And when she actually then said to me, Ricky, I can talk to you if you'd like, it sort of cut through the noise and all the people who were like, a lot of people were like, oh, disconnect the site, but that isn't enough. Because what happened was I had connected to a site that looked like, and the only difference with this Yuga thing was Yuga Labs might be Yuga Labs, but their thing on Twitter is Yuga, and Yuga Labs with a double S. You know, when you're tired, you wouldn't recognize that double S. So everything looked legitimate. And what she said to me, which was really important as well, because I then phoned her and we talked through it, and I went to revoke.cash. Now, revoke.cash itself looks like a website that doesn't look like a true website as well. And you're thinking, but because she told me to log into that, I did. And I could see that the scammer had basically ready to take my long neckies, 26 crypto voxel parcels and everything. So what we did, and this is why I say her DAO was really good, because at that time I didn't actually have ETH in my wallet. And she actually sent me a little bit of ETH over to be able to cancel these transactions. So because what had happened, and because this was like a contractual sign, on revoke.cash, it showed other side and all the projects basically taking anything that was liquid in my wallet. So anything that people had offers on, that was what was stolen straight away. And revoke.cash enabled me to stop all of those transactions, which is super important, because I was able to then take control of my wallet. And why that's important, because a lot of people might have just disconnected from the site, but then they'd have woken up and their wallet would have been drained. Now, because a lot of people had open bids on collections, when my stuff was stolen, it was sold instantaneously. And so therefore, the scammers basically converted it to cash straight away. I then contacted OpenSea, but this is also equally very important, because when you take control of your wallet again, then it's important to tell OpenSea that you have control of your wallet, that you've revoked everything, because a lot of artists, a lot of people will panic in that moment. And if they suddenly say their wallet is compromised, it can affect their collection, it can affect their artwork, it can affect so many things. It can cause such a headache, because a lot of artists last year, a lot of people last year who went straight in thinking that, you know, it's been compromised, ended up being in quite dark places because all their collections were everywhere. They had to redo everything. So Simone actually said to me in capital letters, I said to OpenSea, I have control of my wallet again. It has been drained, but I do have, or started to be drained, but I have control. And so they didn't like block the wallet. They just flagged the pieces that were stolen. And so, so that's what I did, because what some of these contracts can do is that when you connect, the common sort of protocol, if you have had stuff taken, is that you either negotiate with the person who bought it or you buy it for whatever they bought it for, which, I started doing. But had I have got those pieces back into my wallet, they would have been taken out again straight away if I hadn't revoked this contract. Because what some of the scammers do is they write these contracts to take particular projects. So if you ever got them back, it would go out again. So really the scammers took what was liquid and what was offers, and you could just see it being stacked. And I think at the moment, this all happened very quickly, by the way, because I posted a video straight away. I then posted a video afterwards, so that no one else could get caught by it. And at the moment we stopped it was when 26 of my crypto voxels were about to go, and we managed to stop that. So that's what we did. We used revoke.cash to basically, and interestingly with that as well, is that a number of friends last year who got their wallets drained from crypto, you can actually see with that if, for example, you had something that, let's say if you got 5 ETH, for example, when you reached 5 ETH, your wallet would suddenly be drained. They have these things like that in there as well. So you get to see all this stuff. So I was stupid. I connected to something that I thought was real, very real. And because I then signed it, and I was tired, it started draining my wallet. But I had never seen it in a contractual way like that. And then obviously I lost, I think about 30 grand's worth of NFTs. And to me, that's a lot. So, and I lost NFTs that were important for my kids, that I bought for my kids, that I ended up buying back because, so God help the scammers if they ever come into the jungle, because I'll rip their fucking heads off. Well, I won't, the lions will. But yeah, so that's basically what I did.
Well, I just
so
want to thank you for like walking it through very articulately, like exactly what you did, And I think one of the big lessons in that is don't do transactions or get FOMO and feel like you have to do this particular mint, because it's like usually one of those too good to be true kind of situations. And if you're tired, then that exponentially makes you more vulnerable to this sort of thing.
It does. And this happened to me as well, again, when Mecca launched, because the moment they launched, their website went down, their Discord went down, and I got a message saying, "We're so sorry our website is down. We're so sorry our Discord is down. Here you can mint a pass to get the Mecca." So I lost a lot of ETH that day as well, and ended up resenting the project, although it wasn't the project's fault, it was my fault. But their site was down day of mint, and so was their Discord. And so
someone had hacked them or something, right?
Yeah, well, I think the thing is because so much money can now be made on this in this space, and even when I launched the Jungle Apes, the day of launching the Jungle Apes, someone duplicated another site straight away, and people were minting from OpenSea and buying from OpenSea of a fake site. So there's so many duplicates. So it's so important to click the links on the artists directly. And even if even if a friend forwards something, you've got to just check the artist directly, because you never know who's hacked their wallet as well or hacked their Twitter account. So it's super important. And we are, especially socially groomed to the fear of missing out. There's a limited number, I've got to mint this thing. I think you need to sort of step back.
Something with the World Cup really caught you, because I know you're a big sports fan. So it's like, oh my God, rush to it because it's going to be a popular thing. And so they engineer it the way they word it and what they pick to scam with to target and market.
Yeah, and anyone can get done. Look at Crypto Nova recently. I saw him on NFT London. We were chatting. He was saying it was the legacy for his kids. And then he lost his punk, and then he went to a very dark place. He lost a lot there. And so anyone can get done and caught. So I think, you're right. You just take that extra heartbeat to go, do you want it? Do you really need it? Don't rush into it. That's the thing.
Ricky, I really appreciate you sharing that, man. I definitely think it's valuable for everybody in here. Hate hearing that story. Love your persistence in the comeback, though. That is unique. And, Sandman, I appreciate you coming up and asking a bit more about that, because, again, I don't think we focus enough about security in this space. So definitely appreciate it. We can all learn lessons from that. But unfortunately, guys, I do have to cut off the space. Went a little bit longer than I meant to with it.
I just want to add one more little thing to tack onto that is that I think what we need is the space where, like that was explained perfectly for someone who is completely new to the space. A lot of us had the old clubhouse days where we could sit around all day, and now it's, everybody's busy in their lives now. So we need spaces that repeat that sort of thing for all the new people out there.
Oh, I agree completely, man.
And put it like
something that we can't take for granted.
Newbie to NFT spaces. Let people understand how to get from a custodial wallet to a different type of wallet and self-custody and all that too.
That's why I'm all for those type of conversations anytime that they're brought up. So, again, thank you guys for showing up to the 48th consecutive week of Wonky Weekly Alpha. It has been a lot of fun. Appreciate the new voices that have come up on stage as well. We do these every single Friday, but lately, like I do a derivative of them almost every single day right now. And, I will as long as it takes. So again, just appreciate you guys. Hope everybody enjoys their weekend. And be on the lookout for something else. If not next Friday, tomorrow. So
much love, everyone.
Take care, everyone. Enjoy. Peace.
Keeping us afloat. And when I look back at all the crazy